So, we're going to talk a bit about the pause button versus the dial. Really, really cool topic that if you get your head around today, you can apply this ultimately. It will separate you from most people, most people who struggle with health and fitness in general, and it will pretty much guarantee that you're going to be able to be, as we talked about, long-term, healthy, happy, and in control of your body long-term, if you ask me. So I'm just hyping it up for a good reason. Does anyone have an idea of what I mean by pause button versus the dial? It's kind of, it's not really code words, but it's a little bit. Any ideas?
Pause button, stop and think.
Stop, maybe think. Yeah.
So, maybe just like black and white, we can stop in something or not. Whereas the dial is more making little adjustments.
Stacey's got it, she's switched on. You get the stickers or whatever I have here to reward you.
You get more
Yes,
points.
so here's what most people, and see the pause button is the predominant theory for most people, okay? And the fitness industry has come this way by promoting quick fixes and promoting lots of challenges and lots of quick ways to get things. And it's the stop-start mentality, but I said stop. It's that we're either on or we're off, and by off I mean pause, because we're never like off forever. It's just that we pause things. And people do this short term. I'll start again on Monday. They do it, I'll start again in New Year's. I'll start again after my holiday. I'll start again after this time period. So we put the pause button on things. And what happens when we do that is we have this approach that we somehow get to tell ourselves that because we're starting again soon, it'll be easier, and like we'll be more motivated on Monday, we'll be more motivated on New Year's, or after the holiday it'll be easier. And the reality is it's not any easier when you come back into it. You wake up on that new day and you're the same person waking up, and there's no real difference other than the calendar has ticked over because we have an arbitrary time period we come up with, and we think it's going to be easy, but it's not. And the same token, what it does when you pause is it makes you overdo things and go more out of whack because you're on pause. Because if you say, I'll start again on Monday, I'll start again here, it's like, well, it's okay that I can have this extra piece of cake or this glass of wine, because it's like you balanced out already. In your head, you balanced it. It's like, I'm going to have this extra piece of cake, but because I've said to myself it's on Monday, that's good, so I'm allowed to have this other thing that's bad, and you've already balanced it when really you haven't done shit. You just said to yourself, when we start again. So we pause. And another thing is, you can't pause most areas of your bloody life. You guys are kids. You're a mum. You can't just be like, you know what? I'm just gonna not be a parent for like 2 weeks. I've got this thing on at work. You wish, right? Like if you said to your partner, like, I've got to do this thing at work. It's really busy. So for the next 2 weeks, I'm just gonna go stay in the hotel room down the road.
Yeah.
You got the kids. I need to 100% focus on this and take a pause. Can't pause. But our health is something that, because it only affects us short term, long term might affect others. We can pause that because work is busy or because something happens. We can go, I'll just pause, I'll come back to that a bit later, I won't do anything. And maybe never anything, it's not like you say bedridden and things, but not doing anything really proactively for yourself is what I mean by pause. And then often with the food side of things, we ever do that too. And then we get back into it, apparently when we're going to be more motivated, and we're not, because then we're heavier or we're sluggish, and we think that that's going to be motivated. So that's the pause button mentality, but the dial mentality is what Stacey said, it's adjusting. So instead of saying I'm pausing, it's knowing that in your lifestyle there are times you can turn up the dial on your health and fitness and your eating, and you can turn the dial down, and that there are very different things in there. And going from dialing to 3, 2, or 1 is very different to going to nothing, especially in the way you look at things as well. So it's very important. So for example, the dial might be at times you've got a clear period and you can do like a 6-week in the gym little challenge. You can put your head down and get more sleep and nail your food and train a little bit harder. And that might be turning up to an 8 or 9 on the dial. And then you might have crazy stuff going on at work, you might have a trip you're going on, you might do things, so you turn it down to a 3 or a 2. And a 3 might just be that you try and make 3 workouts a week and eat fairly well 80% of the time. You don't track anything, you're not trying to like really focus on how many calories you're consuming, you're not trying to get caught up, you're doing something and you're staying mindful. And a 1 might just be you're on a holiday and you get up in the morning and you do a 15-minute workout in your hotel room, or you go for a walk in the morning and you try to have a healthy breakfast, or you try to get some vegetables in as you go throughout your day on your holiday. But it's still doing something. And a good way of thinking about it is really, you can sum it up with these 2 phrases. This is all or nothing.
Yeah.
Right? This is really what that is. And this is always something. Very simple ways to frame that, to summarize that really, is those 2 mindsets. And the thing with all or nothing is most people get nothing. That's the thing. You get all temporarily, and most of the time you end up with nothing. as opposed to always something, which is just adjusting that dial based upon where you're at. And the thing with doing the all or nothing and doing like a mentality, and I said the fitness industry is almost responsible for this because there's all these challenges, there's all these 21-day this, 90-day that, and we run stuff here obviously with a time frame, but I still like to impose upon people that just because you're doing a 4-week or 6-week whatever thing, don't think of it like you're stopping in that time.
Yeah.
You're just turning up the dial for 4 weeks
Yeah.
and turning back down, as
Yeah.
opposed to in 4 weeks and 90 days you're going to have, you know, all these results and that's it. Because who in their bright mind has more than 90 days to focus on themselves and their body? That would be ridiculous, right? That's how people tend to view it. So the fitness industry is somewhat responsible, but you know, when you have that approach, you go really hard, and then you know, nothing is typically what comes after that at times, because we're going for that all. And that's where you know, we see short-term results and they stop. Versus the always something, which is adjusting that dial and understanding where that's at. And it's a skill, which is the main thing. So if you only can look after yourself when life is clear and there's no obstacles, and things are settled at home and this is happening, and that's the only time you can eat well and train, then you're not really training yourself to ever do it when life is busy. Because every time life gets busy, you hit the pause button, you're never going to build that ability to actually do that and have the approach when things are busy. And it is a skill. It's literally a skill to be like, okay, this is happening right now in my lifestyle. What can I adjust my dial to? What can I still do? And go make it happen. Like that is a skill ultimately, because it takes time to have that thought process and to map out what that is, and then go do it. It's also a habit at the same time, but it's literally a skill set that you're not building if you only focus on being healthy when things are easy versus doing it when they're hard. Does that make sense? So those are the two mentalities that I think cripple people in a lot of ways. Now, understanding the different levels of the dial is something that having a trainer or having someone help you talk about is important, but it's something you can start thinking about as you go about the next couple of months, because in the next 3 months, maybe there will be a month where you do turn the dial up a bit more, or you turn it down a bit more, for whatever reason. And think about it even the next 12 months, 2 years, 5 years. It's going to be a constant thing. But as long as you have always something on, you'll never end up going completely the wrong direction. Or if it is, it's very, very temporary. Like if you turn it down to a 1 for a holiday, maybe that means in the 6 weeks you gain a kilo. You come back a little bit heavier or a little bit less fit because you couldn't do as much training. And then you can get back into it in 1 week later, you're back where you started. As opposed to going on holiday, pausing, and coming back with 5 kilos to lose and completely unfit. And then it's like, oh, here we go again. I worked hard for 3 months or 6 months and started from scratch, as you said then, Bob. So that is why it's so important that if you understand this and you also obviously apply it, and at times maybe you want to hit the pause button at times, we all do, but if you understand and apply it, you'll never take so many steps back that you can't recover very quickly, and you'll keep taking, hopefully, steps forward. And that is what the people who actually have this figured out, I guess, for lack of a better word, understand, and that's the approach, the mindset they look at it. And the people who don't, and the people that have been to 6 different gyms or get lost 30 kilos 3 times in their life, are in the other different place because they're in pause mentality. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was very succinct. Do you have any questions on that side of things?
I think the dial is how I viewed the 6-week challenge.
Yep.
Like training up the intensity, I came to more sessions, I ate less calories and I just more concentrated.
Yeah.
But then after that finished and I went on holiday, I sort of viewed it as turning the dial down, but I think mentally I thought of it more as a pause. You know, it's like I can turn the dial up, but I struggle to mentally think I'm just turning the dial down without me thinking, oh no, what have I done? I've done the thing almost sort of thing. And I think if I thought about it more than like that, mentally I wouldn't be giving myself such a hard time.
Yes.
Because
That's
I'd be like, yeah, dial 1, I said I was going to do that for a week, that's done, that's okay, and then I can go, because that's what I was talking about taking time to get back to something, and I was like, well, maybe that's because I'm turning the dial back to get myself back up a little bit, and if I was clear about that and how long I was going to take, I wouldn't beat myself up so much about
I think that's a good way to look at it.
so long to do it.
Then you can feel good about doing less, because you're allowed to. Just like you're allowed to in every part of your life, you're allowed to do more and less, and that's it. Life has seasons. Life has seasons, right?
You can't just take 6 weeks off and then suddenly expect to come back and be right at an 8. You'd have to sort of build yourself back up again. But I think if you gave yourself a time frame and said, this is what I'm going to add each week, or this is how I'm going to turn the dial up, you're allowing yourself that time frame to do it rather than just going, oh, why am I so bad? Why am I not back at 4 sessions a week or whatever?
So you feel better. So you feel better about it, and also I think the way you frame it makes it easier. Like it's much easier for you to turn the dial up slightly than it is to turn it back on.
Yeah.
And even though we're just making up ways of framing this.
It's really hard.
Yeah, but we're just And we're just making up ways of discussing it, but if that makes it easy in your head to go, I'm just turning it back up a little bit at a time, and that's the way to look at it. And that's what stops you from ever taking so many steps back. You can't recover. And as long as you're always doing something, and hopefully the right things, which is why you have people to talk about things, then you go on the right track. I think that's a really important lesson for people to learn. Beneficial? I'm taking one. As I said, ask if you're not sure what the dial could mean at different times, because it does mean different things to different people.
Do you
but
think
that's
that
important.
would you recommend
so
drawing yourself a dial almost to say, so you
I got this
same
concept
way.
off a place. A lot of the stuff I've been teaching and building in the gym, like the Lean for Life, comes from this company called Precision Nutrition. They're an American company.
Yeah.
They do coaching for people and they coach trainers on how to be better at helping their clients with nutrition. And I've learned a lot of stuff from them recently. I've done their program. Like I signed up for their coaching program, so I want to learn more. Which is where I got all this stuff. And they have an article about this, and the guy actually has a diet for fitness, for training, for nutrition. And for mindset. So if you want me to send you it, I will, and I'm not taking credit for this concept, he came up with it. I just want to share it because it's really beneficial.
Yeah, I think
but I mean, everyone's dial is going to be different a little bit. You know, depends on where you're at. Like a 10 for some people is going to be different to some other people. If you're in the army and you have to like train to go on like a mission or something like your 10 is going to be like crazy versus your 10.
For 20 kilo back.
but
it's
something
relative.
different to you than.
But let's be honest, for some people, and again, you guys don't see this because I speak to different women like all the time about where they're at. For them, their first dial might be like switch one meal from something really crappy, unprocessed to something healthy. That could be the first step in their diet. Like it's so small. Like people who are having, they rush to work and they grab a muffin on the way to work. What if you just took a little smoothie at home? That would be turning the dial up, a starting point for them. And then it's like, now you've done that consistently, what's next? And that's the kind of way that some people's going to be different, whereas other people's, again, it's going to be tracked cut down to the gram of calories, which is what, say, a bodybuilder does before a show. Like they're going to be like meticulously tracking everything, because if not, they're going to lose their head, and they've got to get down to like so lean, you can see their bum striations. Anyway, so that's a good point. I can send you the dial, and just think about that. Like maybe just come up with 3 different levels even to start with, instead of going like a 10 to 1. I've got my high dial, my maintenance sort of thing, and then maintenance would be the bottom one, for instance. Like the holiday, like going for doing 3 workouts in a week or a holiday, and trying to eat 5 serves of veggies throughout the day, so you know you're still fueling yourself, or even just trying to eat till you're full and stopping, or mindfully eating when on holiday. That's why the Lean for Life is good, because you should theoretically be able to do that no matter what you're doing in your life. You can go on a holiday, you can still eat to your 80% full. You just got to stop and think about what that is, instead of going, oh, this buffet's pretty cool, I haven't been here before, wonder what else they have around the corner. Oh, the dessert platter, there we go. Cool.
It tastes better when someone else cooks it too.
Your diet could change over time, could it? Like,
I think so.
because the things that were a stretch for you would actually become the norm.
100%.
Yeah, so when you first start off, like you say, swapping one meal out, but if you're now regularly eating healthy meals, then that should become your one. You know,
It becomes
so
your norm,
just do to 2 meals a day as you know. So.
Yeah, I think like a dial, like I find I've tracked my calories like 5 years. So for me, just keeping track of my calories would be like a 2. Like I can do it really quickly. It doesn't take effort. Whereas for someone else, that would be like a big thing. They don't know how to do it. They don't know they don't know what's in this and that. Or prepping your food could be really big for someone who's never done it before. Whereas for me, again, like just prepping food, I've done it for years. It's not that hard. So yeah, great chat, guys. I think that was really beneficial. We're gonna do one exercise before you go. I had that on film, so I'm gonna turn it off. I need to get you a blank piece of paper. This is a cool exercise.